When it comes to sports betting, some people have taken risks most of us wouldn't even think about. They have bet on games that have had almost no odds, or odds that were way too slim. Maybe they just wanted to see what would happen, or maybe they had a sixth sense for it. Either way, we're glad they went for it because we got to see some of the biggest sports betting moments ever. Let's revisit some of those incredible moments today. Number 10. Vegas Dave's $1 million. This happened in 2015. Sports bettor Vegas Dave shocked the gambling world by placing a $90,000 US bet on the Kansas City Royals to win the World Series. At the time, the odds were against him 30-1 to be exact. Most people thought he was crazy for putting so much money on a team that hadn't won a championship since 1985. But Dave was confident. He had a gut feeling and he trusted it. But it was not a one-time gamble for Dave. He had studied the team and felt they were built for a championship run. And as the season progressed, the Royals started proving the doubters wrong. They made it all the way to the World Series and, in a stunning victory, defeated the New York Mets to become the champions. When it was all over, Vegas Dave's $100,000 bet paid off in a huge way. He walked away with a $2.5 million US payout, which is one of the biggest wins in sports betting history. Now, Vegas Dave was an occasional bettor. He had some experience under his belt when he betted on the Kansas City Royals. But even he had never done anything quite like this next bettor on our list. Number 9. James Adducci. $1.2 million. In 2019, James Adducci made a bet that many would call ridiculous or maybe genius. He wagered $85,000 on Tiger Woods to win the Masters, even though Woods hadn't claimed a major victory in 11 years. The odds were not in his favor. He had a 14-1 chance to win. What's even crazier is that this was Adducci's first ever sports bet. He had zero experience and chose to risk a massive amount of money. The reason for this outrageous bet was that Adducci had complete faith in Tiger's comeback. He was so convinced Woods would return to form that he ignored the naysayers and put down the cash. The whole tournament was truly a nail-biter, with Woods fighting to the top. And then the moment came. Tiger won the Masters, pulling off one of the most iconic comebacks in sports history. In the end, Adducci's $85,000 bet turned into a $1.2 million US win. It was a life-changing moment for a man who took a wild risk and walked away a legend, at least in the betting world. While James Adducci became famous for his first-time gamble, the next story proves you don't need big bets to win big. Number 8. Fred Craggs. $1.2 million. Fred Craggs was a 60-year-old fertilizer salesman from North Yorkshire. He placed a simple 50p accumulator bet in 2008. It was the kind of bet you wouldn't think twice about, covering 8 horse races across the UK and even one in Dubai. The odds were 2 million to 1. What's incredible is that Fred didn't even know he had won at first. The day after placing the bet, he casually walked into his local betting shop and found that he had just become a millionaire. The first horse he bet on was named Isn't That Lucky, and the final winner was A Dream Come True. It was just perfect in every way. Fred's small bet had turned into a jaw-dropping $1.2 million US win. Yet, despite his huge windfall, he was as humble as ever. He even kept the news to himself during his 60th birthday celebration. It's one of those stories that remind you how even the smallest wagers can change a life. But Fred's calm, low-key reaction is the mark of a true betting legend. Let's see who's up next. Number 7. Steve Whiteley. $1.9 million. Steve Whiteley was a 61-year-old heating engineer from Devon. He hit the jackpot with a bet so small it is almost hard to believe. In 2011, he went to Exeter Racecourse on a free entry day and placed a mere $2.5 bet on a tote jackpot. The bet required him to pick the winners of 6 consecutive races, and Steve was not even a regular bettor. He just chose a few horses based on their names and what felt right. The odds of winning were an insane 1 in 2 million. But one by one, his horses crossed the finish line first. By the end of the day, Steve had turned his tiny $2.5 wager into a life-changing $1.9 million US payout. What's even crazier is that some of the horses were total long shots, and one hadn't won a race in over a year. Now, while Steve Whiteley's win was pure luck, this next bettor's story is all about skill and strategy, with one of the biggest paydays ever. Number 6. Billy Walters, $3.5 million. Billy Walters is known as one of the most successful sports bettors in history. He had a career full of legendary wins, but his most famous moment came in 2010 when he made a $3.5 million bet on the New Orleans Saints to win Super Bowl 44 against the Indianapolis Colts. The odds were tough and the Saints were underdogs, but Walters had done his research. He had already analyzed every angle and used insider knowledge that made him a betting master. It was a thrilling game. Both teams gave it their all, but in the end, the Saints pulled off stunning victory, and Billy's calculated risk paid off in a massive way. His $3.5 million win became a highlight of his career, and now most people remember him as a betting legend. Number 5. Floyd Mayweather Jr., $5.9 million. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the undefeated boxing champion. He is known for his lavish lifestyle and confidence. A few years ago, he made one of the biggest sports bets ever in 2013. Mayweather put down $5.9 million on the Miami Heat to beat the Indiana Pacers in Game 7 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. At the time, the Heat were heavy favorites, but betting that kind of money on any single game is a huge risk, even for someone like Floyd. As the game played out, the Heat delivered a strong performance. In this game, LeBron James was leading the way. They secured a dominant victory, 99-76, and Mayweather's bet paid off handsomely. The win added another $6.5 million to his already massive fortune. Now, Floyd is also known for placing enormous bets and often flaunts his winnings on social media. Whether you think he's a genius gambler or just loves the thrill, you cannot deny that Mayweather knows how to make his money work for him. While Floyd Mayweather's massive win was legendary, not every high-stakes gamble ends in celebration. In fact, one anonymous bettor's story is a painful reminder of just how risky sports betting can be. Number 4. Anonymous bettor, $14 million. In 2002, an anonymous gambler placed a $14 million bet on the St. Louis Rams to win Super Bowl 36. At the time, the Rams were the clear favorites, as they were led by quarterback Kurt Warner and had their greatest show on turf offense. The odds seemed heavily in their favor, and many expected the Rams to walk away as champions. This anonymous bettor was also confident in their dominance, so he put everything on the line. He was fully expecting a massive payout. But then came one of the most stunning upsets in Super Bowl history. The New England Patriots, which were led by a young Tom Brady, shocked the world and defeated the Rams 20-17. The Patriots' last-minute field goal secured their victory. And you can guess what this means. The anonymous bettor's $14 million gamble evaporated in an instant. The financial loss was just too much and remains one of the biggest recorded losses in sports betting history. But it was a great bet, just not one that paid off. Just like this one time when a crazy wager put a poker pro to the ultimate test in the Las Vegas Heat. It was not a $1 million bet, but it surely deserved to be among the wildest gambling stories out there. Number 3. The Poker Pro Golf Bet, $340,000. Professional poker player Eric Lindgren has always been known for taking risks. This one time in 2007, he took on one of the wildest bets you could imagine. That year, his fellow high-stakes poker players challenged him to play 4 consecutive rounds of golf in one day. That's 72 holes non-stop under the blazing Vegas sun. To make it even harder, Lindgren had to carry his own clubs and shoot under 100 in each round. The reward for this nearly impossible feat was a massive $340,000. It seemed insane. The heat was brutal and the physical toll of carrying his clubs over 72 holes was beyond grueling. Yet Lindgren was determined and against all odds, he pulled it off. The man shot under 100 in every round and won the $340,000 bet. It was an incredible victory, proving that some wild challenges can be conquered with pure willpower. And again, not every greatest betting story starts with millions. Sometimes the difference between what you risk and what you win is really what matters. Number 2. The Mick Gibbs Bet, $646,000. Mick Gibbs was a humble roofer from the UK. He placed a tiny 30-pence bet in 2001. But this was not just any simple bet. It was a 15-leg accumulator on football matches. The odds of winning were astronomical 1.67 million to 1. Yet, Mick was feeling lucky. One by one, each match result came through, and his predictions were spot on. The final game, a Champions League showdown, was the ultimate test, when Bayern Munich clinched the win on penalties, Mick's wild bet turned into a $646,000 US payout. What makes this story even more incredible is that Mick had already pulled off a big win in 1999, where he had won $200,000 US from another accumulator. But this 2001 bet was the stuff of legends. And on the top, we have the biggest bet in the history of sports, which also proved to be a great marketing strategy. Jim Mattress Mac McIngvale was a Houston furniture store owner. Today, he's known for making some of the biggest sports bets in history. His most famous wager was in 2022, when he placed a $10 million US bet on the Houston Astros to win the World Series. The Astros came through, and Mattress Mac walked away with a record-breaking $75 million payout, which is still the largest in sports betting history. But there is an interesting side to this story. McIngvale is always coming up with genius marketing strategies. He often ties his massive bets to promotional deals at his stores. In this case, he promised customers that if the Astros won, anyone who had purchased $3,000 or more in furniture would get a full refund. The bet generated huge sales and publicity for his business. The gamble paid off, with national headlines and massive foot traffic to his stores. This is how, with a clever technique, he turned his high-risk bet into marketing gold. So, which one of these bets was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed these incredible betting stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's plenty more exciting content coming your way, so stay tuned.